Sure.
Hey, Shireen.
Hey.
We're
Oh,
just getting
Hi, Cheryl.
started. I was asking Chantel what was on her mind, and then we're going to switch to you and find out how all this college, like drinking for five
it was,
hours,
I know, it was so
phenomenon
fun.
about young boys wanting to get their mothers drunk that we think Freud will have some thoughts about.
Oh my goodness.
So, Chantel, what is on your mind? And then we'll switch over to Shireen.
I wonder if actually would it be okay if I let Shireen go first because
Oh,
I'm
sure.
I'm in a sketchy kind of farmland and I know that my internet's a little wonky until I get closer to the city.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Shireen, tell us, how is the college visit going? And thank you for
Yeah,
your,
so it's going awesome.
yeah.
So it's been super fun. So we came in Sunday night and we are actually going to San Fran today. So we'll drop down to visit Will for a little bit. Um, but yeah, so got in late Sunday and then it starts midday or 11:30 on Monday. So we go and it starts with a kickoff lunch. And so I did think of the universe. So anyway, I was sitting at one table. Will had to go a different, I mean, well, Ben went a different spot. I went straight to the lunch and I was waiting for him. And then I was at this one table and everybody kind of, it was outside. Everybody kind of got up and left. And so I was like, well, that's fine. I'll sit here. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to go to that table over there. Like I saw this other table and I'm like, I'm going to go to that table. It's real close to the DJ stand. And so that'll be easy to tell Ben where I am. Like I'm at the table by the DJ booth. And then there's just these moms sitting there and they're so awesome. So we start talking, and one of them's in real estate in Napa Valley and does her little niche is hospitality real estate. So there's weird ordinances in Napa how you can do short-term rentals, and
Yeah.
so she's found this little niche of where you do them as B&Bs
Oh,
because they've banned Airbnbs in Napa. Anyway, so we just start talking, and that's fun. And then Erica's in LA and just her stuff, and she's primarily mom. And then so anyway, so we just do the day together, and we do so the kids go one direction, parents go another.
yeah.
And Ben had 30,000 steps on his Monday.
Oh, that's
So
a
they're
lot.
like,
That's like me
he's
in
like,
Italy.
I am tired, you know.
Mhm.
And they stayed in the dorms, and then he had to get up at 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, that's rough. Like he is not a morning boy right now with
Okay,
summer
which, by the
vacation.
way, my best piece of advice to my son that he tells me was not to take any 8 a.m. classes.
See, but apparently, if you don't sign up for your classes, because in the parent side of things, they're like, your kids may be saying their courses are not available. Ask them what their parameters are, because if it's 11 a.m., 12 p.m. start time, correct, there may be no more classes.
Right.
But
But
8
9
a.m.,
o'clock's okay, but 8 a.m., they miss them every time.
yeah. So
Sorry, go
anyway, but
ahead.
he's figuring it out and navigating it and stuff. But anyway, so then we're on our own for dinner. And there, so we end up going, Erica's staying at this hotel called the Gordon, which is a nice hotel and across from where I stayed last time. And so we're just going to go to a little happy hour before we go to like the parent happy hour
Still
that's
happy
across the
hour.
street. Yeah, a little happy hour. Just have a drink before we go over to the graduate across the street for the like parent
Mhm.
actual formal happy hour. Um, we just and laughed, and I
I'm so
literally
glad
have
for
not
you. You
laughed.
needed that.
I know it was so just like, and it was so crazy how it's almost like with a stranger you can go deeper than you can
Oh, totally. I call it
like,
the airport plane
yeah,
phenomenon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were talking about fun stuff and then we were like, Erica's super frustrated because her mother-in-law has moved in. And so then it like literally devolves like we all like Dateline, like how would you take her out and like not get caught? Like just, to just like struggles of Monica's daughter tried to commit suicide and just recovering from microdosing to we should buy a house in Eugene, so that we can all hang out together. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was just really fun. And it, like you said, just to be that lighthearted and just laughing that much and just silly
Because we
I was
female
like,
entrepreneurs are pretty intense sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we even joked
I'm
that
so
maybe we
glad.
should go to college. We should all come here. Like, we'll follow our kids. Like,
We need an entrepreneur college.
so anyway, it was just good. And then Ben was having a good time. And so then we were able to get back with the kids the next day and had lunch together, all three kids. Erica has a daughter, and then Monica has a son, which her older son actually moved to Austin 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Small.
So anyway, we all had lunch. It was fun. The kids were all excited, because it felt real, like, having been in the dorm and being on the campus and,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Ben went out last night, like a group of them. That felt really good as a mom. Like, he's shaking hands and fist bumping and, whatever all the little weird handshakes are
Yeah.
with all these different people. And then they went and played pool last night. And
Oh, fun.
yep.
So
So
now is this where he's actually going to go?
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, good.
But they're on the quarter system, so he doesn't go until September 27th.
Yeah,
But
my
he
niece
gets
is
to get
on
into
that.
the dorm like 24th, 25th, 26th. There was a little eye opener. We're not doing our checklist very well, so we need to like dot some I's and cross some T's. But anyway, so it's then I was rapidly on my phone, like, oh shit, what are the Belize dates? Like, do I have a conflict? But I'll go to Belize and then immediately move him up here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, my
anyway,
niece is
and
on
then
the quarter system. It's different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people just like Amazon their stuff. Like it's going to be silly for us to like buy stuff in Austin and then
That's
haul it
great.
all the way up.
We didn't have that when I was in college, and so we had carloads full of crap, right? That you're carrying in.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazon
Now
drivers are probably busy.
and I'm going to look into this. They also have, it reminds me like in elementary school, you could buy like a school kit pack and it benefited the PTA. And then it was just like sitting on your kid's desk when they
Yeah.
started school.
Yeah.
And so I always did that. They have a similar thing that benefits the student organization. So you can order just these dorm packs that
Oh, that's great.
are already put together.
Yeah,
So
that's great. So how's your heart? How's like what's on your mind today?
um I guess the first thing that popped in my head is just don't take things so seriously. Like, you know, um,
Good
because
message.
I did make a conscious choice to be more present with Ben on this trip, because it's like work, like literally, because y'all know that's been frustrating at moments, but it's like it won't fall apart in a week. Like nothing traumatic is happening. Um, so anyway, so that feels good. It just kind of
Were you able to get the August 15th people? Are they set?
We did get the guest we had a guest the 2nd through the 5th,
Right?
and we were able to get them in literally like 1 minute to spare. So I don't remember where I updated y'all, but I really did have like a just let it go. And I wrote, I kid you not, a freaking nice email. Like, and just, I'm willing to let it all go. This was my preference, but I get it. I'm willing to let it go. I value experiences and relationships much more. I would love to in 6 months have a cup of coffee, hear how great y'all are doing, share how much Lodgewell is, done. And but here's what, but I also value the guest experience. And, we have verbal and contractual commitments to these guests, and I want to be able to be the touch point. I want to manage them, and that experience and stuff. So they agreed. And so Mary texted me back, like, thank you for the really nice email. We'll get back to you shortly. And then Jaime, the husband, was the one more communicating with my team. And so then everything got cleared via text because I was like, like scheduling the time and do we need to clean? Are y'all going to clean? And anyway, and then I had said, really, like, my time, can we just know everything by 5:30 because my team is trying to leave, like, and we don't even know what's going on tomorrow. So we scheduled it all, and it was my birthday was when I was doing all this. Got it all scheduled, got it all cleared in email. And then Mary wrote an email, or actually it was Jaime wrote it, but I know it's her or the attorney. It's not Jaime's voice at all. It's like, okay, we approve. But then it's like, but Lodgewell's going to own all liability for all of these reservations and you're going to pay the day after checkout. I'm like, you freaking changed the terms. Like, that's not like you have, I'm not going to own all the liability. Somebody can fall off a cliff at your house. Like, we all have liability insurance. And so, like, you would use anyway. So for better or worse, I did not see that email till Friday morning. And so I chose to not respond to them. I called my attorney. And then I was like, I'm just going to go on as if I didn't see it, because like it was 15 minutes before we were supposed to be there. And I'm like, this is such BS. So anyway, then it got kind of crazy for a minute and I ended up leaving the property. I had my attorney, I was telling him, basically I texted Jaime, this is super uncool. Like, I have exited your property. Are you allowing or denying lodge hall access? Guests arrive in an hour. I'm waiting offsite for your guidance. And so then like 5 minutes later, my attorney calls me because their attorney has called him. Like, so somehow they figured it out. I don't even know what they did. And they're like, just proceed, go let the guest in. I've talked, and then my attorney is like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, right now I want to run them over. So really probably not a good time to talk to me. And then I ended up getting calm again. It's like, I thought of your vibrational levels, and I'm reading the Power versus Force,
good.
like 4 pages at a time. I swear that's like a quantity of reading I can do. So I was like, I'm gonna vibrate at a higher level. And then well, she does an asshole move on Monday at checkout. And I'm like, you are committed to a higher vibrational level. So I do need to get it attorney to attorney. I want a contract written up, like the terms of termination. But I realized I do need to think through it a little bit, because like we also have tour dates for weddings. Like when you book a wedding, you get 2 on-site visits. I just want to get really clear and make sure everything is covered.
So do you have anything booked with them after August?
Yeah, so we have our next check-in's August 15th, and they stay for 4 nights, I think. And then we have a 1 night on a Saturday in August, a 1 day on a Sunday in August. And then we have 2 weddings in October.
Oh,
Any and all of these would be a challenge to read, because I even thought contractually I can relocate them and I'd make more money if I just took the money. But this place is so specific.
Yeah.
People,
what does your attorney say? Because going at a high vibration doesn't also mean just giving up everything. And I think it's the right thing, right? But I would listen to your attorney too for these ongoing ones and what he recommends.
Yeah, I do think he's probably happy to have me as a client, because I've done enough that, okay, here's the thing that I end up going to the most, like, are you just trying to be right?
Yeah.
And there is a lot of times where I'm like, I will be right. Like or it's more like prove you are wrong, which also means I want to be right. And so whenever I get in that loop, it's not a good loop. And that loop is where a lot of attorneys live with their clients, is the clients want to just be right, and it is very expensive to go down that path. And you often get to the end and you don't even get the glory of being right, because it's going to split the baby somewhere and, like blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. Well, and I guess what I mean with that is when he's writing up the contractual agreement, like, I don't know what your agreement with them was around, like how much pay they get for the people in there and that
So
type
that's
of thing.
so that's where I do debate. And I do sit on days like, I just need some advice, like, and I do have people, but so that's where my struggle is vibrating at a high level does not mean just giving up, or it often comes in mind, like, don't be a chump, like, or, kind of thing. But then what would it look like? Because I have even thought, so we do thank you, Chantal. right now we're a 30-70 split. Lodgewell gets 30%, they get 70%. So I was like, maybe I go 50-50. Like maybe I just renegotiate. But I'm like, do I even want to throw like a big wrench in there, because that may throw them off.
So I'm going to stop you for a minute, Shereen. And part of
Uh-huh.
why I say that is because I want to know, like, all the, well, will this throw them in a tailspin? First of all, this is the universe saying to you, you don't want this property in your portfolio.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Secondly,
well, and actually that came to me real clear, real first, in the very beginning. But it was like, no,
right. Well,
I'm like,
because it's very
but you
specific.
wished
It's
for
clear.
this, like you literally put it out there, and now it's here,
And so my question to you would be, the other question is not just only about, am I trying to be right, which I think is a huge, great awareness, but also, are you, and I say this because I recognize this in myself too, like, are
and I
you,
want this kind of feedback. So like,
yeah,
yeah.
are you taking the easiest route?
And I
Right?
struggle with that. Like, this is kind of where I get sometimes, like, am I taking the high road? Am I taking the easy route? Am I being high vibration, or am I being a chump? Like where does it lie? So to answer kind of
Well,
your question and talking to my attorney, like what I want is to be able to do these reservations with ease. Like I don't want any shenanigans, like none. I
so that
do
needs to
want clarity in
contract.
writing. Like,
Yeah,
huh?
that
Yeah, I
needs
want
to
something in
contract.
writing. I actually at this moment want to hold payment until all of this is done. Like
Yeah,
you
they
have,
don't get the payment until they hold up to their end of the.
yeah, like you have to behave, because the shenanigans that they're doing.
Yeah, so
Have,
based on past behavior,
mhm,
there's a trust level that says to me, I can't trust that there won't be issues or obstacles
mhm,
put in the way of these pre-made reservations,
mhm,
August and October, and
mhm,
therefore payment will be held until all
mhm.
whatever.
I even thought like maybe it could go into an escrow account or like some, but
Yeah.
like nobody, like final payout is when all obligations have
'Cause
been fulfilled.
you're only talking about a couple in August and then 2 weddings in
I
October.
mean, it's $70,000, so it's not like,
It's not chump change.
yeah. Mhm,
Yeah. But I think that's where I was trying to get you to from a clarity perspective is what do you
mhm,
choose, right? So the easiest way sometimes is to just let it go, right?
mhm.
And sometimes it's worth it,
Yeah.
right? It's that whole thought around, I think I put this on the other day on a post was, if it costs you your peace, it's not worth it, right?
Mhm,
And there's certain things with that. But yeah, it sounded super clear in your energy. You bet. Like
yeah.
what you want is to make sure that
Mhm,
there are no shenanigans and you want, so if you go back to that very first statement you made about you want flow and ease,
yeah.
so that these clients can come in and have the best, and I think you just keep your focus, that's your
Yeah.
North Star, right? Like
Mhm,
just keep your focus there. So anything that you're asking for is backed up with that,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And
And
then,
I don't wish them ill will. I mean, I could go into the weeds
oh,
of like I now know more about this company. So they have actually signed with a new company called Wander. Wander is a company that like I admire. Like I've watched their
yeah.
growth, and um the attorney is the so this 25-year-old has this $130 million VC funded company, and his daddy is the attorney that's magically the counsel of Mary and Jaime. So it's all, I'm like, just let it go, let it go, let it go.
Yeah. And Serene, I think you're doing a really nice job. And I don't know, Chantel, feel free to jump in here too, but it feels like to me energetically, you're doing a really nice job letting go. And so I wouldn't keep repeating that because when you repeat it, you're pulling it back,
Yeah. No, but
right?
I
You've
swear
let
when
it
she
go.
pops in at 11, like at 2:31 a.m. text, and I'm like, "Blah!" like I'm like, no, we've
That's
already gone through this. Like,
yeah. But I totally get that. And so, but I think that's wise. And if those are the two things and the stipulations in the contract, then that's the
mhm,
stipulations, right? If they
And
choose not to accept
Ruby's-
that, then you can go back and,
Mhm.
you know, but ultimately, like, I don't know what the other contracts read, but my guess would be is they're contractually obligated
Mhm.
to let these play out. But to your
Yeah,
point, more about the shenanigans. So I think you're
yeah,
headed in the right direction. But you
yeah.
know,
And my attorney, he did say, like, I had to get over this, or I chose to get over, like, they just keep saying shit that's not accurate, but
well, here's why,
it's
Serene, because the more and more they pick, the more and more you're like, I'm just gonna let go.
right. Well, and I'm also
So
like,
they
it's an
get their way.
excellent strategy. Like, nope, we terminated the contract. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, there are steps to do it. No, the contract was terminated July 31st at midnight. And I'm like, no. And they're like, yes, it was, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so maddening.
So here's the thing. I want you to
Um,
notice something. And like when you start to talk about all that and the details, your chaos energy, and it's
yeah,
like,
for sure.
oh,
But that's
stress.
what I'm saying. But to me, it gets into like, it's like silly land. That's what I'm like, just don't
Yeah.
take things so
So
seriously
here's what I'm
because,
gonna say to you. Just say, I'm not available for that.
yeah.
Like literally, that is
Uh-huh.
something I learned from my coach that Chantel was coached by too. Just saying, I'm not available for that. You don't have to give any other details. You're just like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, we're not available for that.
Mhm.
Doesn't work for us, right? Like that's
Yeah.
another, that doesn't
And
work.
then,
And then here's the deal, Shireen, because what they're trying to do, this has nothing to do with right or wrong, but it's about manipulation. And what
exactly.
happens is they come in and they'll do this stuff to create a tizzy in you because then you have to go through this whole thing and then you
Mhm.
give up something
Yeah.
else, right?
Mhm.
So my suggestion to you is they've gotten to this point now where they're not communicating with you directly, right? They're going now through the attorney because you communicated with Jaime and then he never got back with you. He went to the attorney called your attorney.
Mhm.
So I would just also put in the contract that all communication goes through the attorneys and
Mhm.
that this, so that they don't call you anymore and
Mhm.
you with this, with any more of,
Yeah. And there was something, in a correspondence, and it was Jaime's, email, which it was totally the attorney via Jaime's signature. But so we're so glad that we're now in agreement. And he goes, they just tipped their hand because they kept saying that no agreement was needed, like, nope, it's terminated. But he goes, that first sentence says they knew and they know
yeah.
that they're not,
Yeah. And so I would just try to stop pulling it
I,
back and just say, I'm not available for that. And if they contact you, I mean, it's up to you. But if I were you, this is like almost like blocking somebody on your phone, right? Like just cut it off and
yeah,
say, here's what I want. We want these clients to be taken care of.
by
Here's how
Lodgewell.
that's done. Right. By Lodgewell, here's how that's done. This includes these things. It includes the October weddings. Now it's up to you, Shireen, but if you've got tours for additional weddings coming up that
Mhm.
haven't booked yet, I would just let those go.
Yeah, no, we've stopped. Like, Brett was even like, what do I do with leads? And I was like, I don't want him to say, I told her just to say those dates are no longer available, like a vague thing. And here are some other opportunities or options or like, let's try to convert the lead, but like, we're not taking any more bookings. We're not,
And
doing
you're
anything
doing a
else.
great job, so great job to you for managing the energy. And I would just now say, like, energetically, physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, I'm not available for
Not
that.
available. Yeah.
It doesn't work for
And
us.
and that's the moment, like, I even know now when I'm in a tizzy and being drama queen and all,
Don't call yourself a drama queen. It's not, it's
no, but
just,
sometimes it's fun. It's very indulgent, and
totally.
I like it for the minute, like,
Yeah.
but I also know that the peace and the calm, like, I feel it in my body, like when I settle down, and it generally comes from a few things, like, how did I participate in this? Like, that actually does help me. Like this
Yeah.
didn't happen to me. Like, I did participate in
Yeah, we
this.
co-create. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then am I trying to look good, feel good, be right, be in control? You know, and if those are my aims at any of them, there generally is some angst in me. And then it's that just getting to the spot of letting it go, like being okay. That doesn't mean I have to let it go, but just getting to the point where I am okay. Like if it just goes away, my business goes away, my marriage goes away, this contract goes away. Like, and again, not that I wish my marriage to go away, or not that I wish for my business to go away, or but if it's like that no longer kind of holds me, then I lose the fight. Like it's just like the fight in me just kind of levels out, and then I see things differently and clearer and calmer, and then I think I'm more efficient, you know, or more so
And
anyway, it's like this, like you're doing it, like stop, you've already started.
yeah, and then I would say too, Shireen, part of that is like it's what you're doing is awesome to move yourself from that place. And then instead of looking for that all the time, look
Mhm.
for, am I afraid to be successful?
Yeah.
Right? Like, am I moving forward? It's good to let that go, and what you're doing and asking those questions and everything. Just don't get too caught in that so that you loop in
Mhm.
that, right? And then
Mhm.
what's the opposite of the universal law of polarity, right? Like if
Mhm.
you're here on a growth edge, you're here. If you're here,
Mhm.
you're here. Right? Like,
Yeah, I think about that all the time. Like, I even thought about it when I was having fun with those ladies. I was like, I get to have this
yeah.
because I'm doing all this other shit at home, you know, like, so yeah. So every time it seems real low, I'm like, oh, because it's gonna give me this real high, you know,
Well, and not even
like
so much.
just feel it all, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But that growth edge then too, like what you're learning here is to trust yourself and your intuition, which you
Mhm.
do a pretty decent job of, but it's like it's one more step of like this whole thing about I don't have to give it all away, and how to maneuver when people are manipulative, right?
Mhm.
And so realizing too that even when you feel like there's a good relationship, are there some things that you can tighten up in those
Mhm.
situations?
Yeah,
Not
and
from a judgment perspective, but
I
as you go into more and more of these elite properties, right? It's a great learning.
correct. Yeah, and I do think of Jessica a lot with like, thank you for the lessons, you know, like I'm like, oh my gosh, and that's like, but there are lots of lessons, and even in an odd way, this company Wander, that's coming in to do the falling leaves, um, I've done a deep dive in them, and it's more out of like, it's like if your boyfriend or husband or whatever was looking at another woman, you would go research, you know, like it's not necessarily like a super healthy thing. But in this deep dive of wonder, like who's the competition, who's coming in, you know, I'm like, man, they've done some clever shit, you know,
Mhm.
like, and so I'm like, I'm gonna have some awesome business ideas. So it's like, was the deep dive and wonder what I needed? Because business wise, they are tight. Like they have done some really
Giving you some
clever,
inspiration.
yeah, clever stuff and the way they set things up. And I never would have done that research, that deep dive, or, you know, like, so who knows? We'll see. But
And once a quarter, probably not a bad idea to go out and do a deep dive of some.
yeah, yeah, who's doing what and what's working and what's not working. Because they basically did what my idea was in 2021 with Lodgewell Properties, but they just did it much more successfully. And so I had this belief that, oh, investors weren't available, money wasn't out there. They
Right.
freaking raised $130 million. And I was thinking no money was available.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, you're on the right track. So I'm going to swing it over to Chantel,
yeah,
but glad that
absolutely.
you are having a great time and that, but keep us updated on how this is going. And I think you're doing, a lot of things where you're making sure that you're showing up as your favorite self in this.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, nicely
So
done.
thank you for that. Yes. Y'all are in my head a lot and I appreciate it.
Well, it's good to see your face.
Yeah. I'm not makeup or anything, but
Hey, we are who we are,
we've
right?
been partying too much for me to get up
Well,
early.
and I will tell you when we're in Belize, which by the way, have you booked your flights?
No, I need to get online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do. And then, because it's funny, I think you're the only one that's not on the flight from Spokane, because Chantel's going to drive down and
Oh
get
my
on the
goodness, maybe I should
flight.
go to Spokane and then just go on over with you.
Right. I think there's
Yes,
only a couple
please.
seats left, so but which reminds me, Chantel, just respond to me. I sent you a text last night, and maybe you did, and I just haven't seen it yet. About the
Oh, okay. Yeah,
uh,
okay. I will.
and so Chantel, what's on your mind, my girl?
Yes. Well, and Shireen, I just wanted to say, because I think my internet is good enough for you to hear me at this point.
Yeah.
Uh, as you were talking, one thing that kind of dropped in for me as you were talking about the energy, and I think you named it like the drama queen stuff, is I was almost curious about um if that energy could be transmutated into something. Like what would that be? Because there is a vitality to that energy, and it may not be serving you in its current form, but just something to think about. Like, what if that
Yeah,
energy?
Yeah, that's good.
So
yeah, I am
just
a firm
I'm throwing that
believer.
out there.
Yeah, and I am a firm believer that we're always getting something out of, like we don't do things just
Well,
for no
and
reason.
Shireen, I think an important component here that Chantel's referring to is the law of transmutational energy, where everything is energy and it's just what form it takes. So what she's saying is this is really vitality energy
Mm-hmm.
that you're using in maybe a way that isn't what you're considering your favorite self, which is the judgment that we pick up on calling yourself a drama queen. And is there a way to shift that energy? Right, just like when you're playing a guitar the other day, yesterday when we were talking about the law of cause and effect, just tuning the piece on the guitar, I don't know what they call that, but like where you tune it, the little tuning thing,
Yeah.
like just shifting it like 1 degree can make a
Mm-hmm.
song beautiful or make it ugh, right? So like taking that energy of where you're even judging yourself about it, and is there a way to like stream that into a different form?
Mm-hmm. Well, the same drama queen is also the one that gets a house knocked out in a week and furnished and art on the wall and, down to the tiny details, and like the fanatic over there
Yeah,
produces
and I
something really beautiful. And then, yeah.
Yeah, and please here too, I don't think there's any judgment in what I'm saying or what Chantel, but more so
Mhm.
too when you find yourself in that moment,
Yeah.
right? Like that's that circle that I call my kidney that I say in that moment, then saying, "Oh yeah," and you're self-aware enough, but then how can you like how do you want to transmute that energy in
Yeah.
that time? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Chantal and Debbie.
Wow.
Good stuff. Okay, Chantel,
Yeah.
6 minutes. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. I
sorry.
don't know. What's
Oh,
on my mind? I don't really know what's on my mind. I'm just in a pretty chill place right now. I'm heading back from the farm. I had an amazing time at the farm. I had a lot of time to create some routines and some tweaks. Speaking of the tuning piece, some tweaks to my routine that I think have been really helpful. Um, Maybe I'll just say, like, I sent out that survey to my clinicians. I think I had mentioned that yesterday to get a sense of like reflection from them of who lights them up to work with and who they are really excited to work with. And I received um, a few responses. I'm waiting for a couple more, and the ones who have responded, like I cried a little bit yesterday when I was reading Chippo's because it was just so touching, and I was like, this is what people need to hear, my dear friend, because it's like you can tell who she's passionate about wanting to work with and who she like feels really lit up by. So that was affirming of like going in the right direction with this.
and Chantel, I want you to understand too, what's happening is you're allowing them to get into alignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to create more
So that,
passion and verb in them too.
yeah. Yeah. So I that feels good. That feels good. And it feels aligned for me as well in terms of like the leadership, the way I
Mhm.
want to show up as a leader.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's just, yeah, that's just kind of like where things are at. And yeah, I don't know. I've been doing this high vibe meditation every morning. So I've just tweaked my morning mindfulness practice to listen to this one particular meditation for a bit. And that has been really helpful. It's been really helpful because it talks a lot about the transmutation piece of energy. And
Yeah.
there's a visualization where you take the thing that is kind of feels like it's been challenging or pushing you or your growth edge, and you put it in a container, and then you watch you close the lid and you watch the light transform it. And there's just something about that image that has been really
Yeah.
helpful around the money stuff.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Chantel, will you send me that link? And the reason I asked that is my coach and I recently did a similar meditation. And that's the one where I think I've mentioned, and maybe I haven't to you guys, that has shifted the relationship I have with my son and daughter-in-law like 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And that's part of, I think, then what she's talking about with you, Shireen, is, like not making yourself smaller, but how does that energy look different container and showing up and meeting people where they're at?
Yeah, I can totally show that. Be happy to do that.
Would be great.
I'll put it in the WhatsApp.
Which also reminded me,
Great.
I don't think I've ever taped that movie theater meditation yet, have I?
No, not yet.
I'll do that. It's on my list now. Okay, well, Shireen, take a look at the spreadsheet, and if you decide you want to come up here to Spokane and fly in, I will tell you, take a look at the Delta flight because we're all meeting in Atlanta. I don't know where your
Okay.
crossovers would be, but we arrive in Belize at 11, and then I'm just waiting on your flight info. And then once I get it, I'm going to go out and book the other small ones because I just need to make sure that there's enough seats.
Okay.
Because for the smaller planes, right?
Okay.
I'll reach out to you guys because I don't know if I have to put like how many bags and that kind of stuff too. But anyway, that's where we're at.
Okay. That's on my list for today. So I'll figure out now that I confirmed I can do both, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so torn. Like, can Carl do freshman move in without me? And then what would Ben think? And I was like, oh no, I can do both. It'll just be back to back.
Good. The end life. Yeah. And then be on the lookout because I don't know what I was just gonna say. Crap. I should have written it down. It was
I have this I give myself permission to remember.
Yeah, I will remember what I was gonna say to you. Thank you. That's good. Oh well, I'll let you know more when I remember it. It'll come back at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. You're like, oh, here it is.
That's why I like WhatsApp, because then it doesn't hopefully you have your notifications shut off where it just shows the little circle and it doesn't ding or anything. So, but okay, with that, folks, we will see you. Oh, I know what it was. Be on the lookout. So thank you I give myself.
It works.
I'm going to have Sarah send you guys the link if you want to sign up for the free sales workshop that I'm doing.
Okay.
Some of the exercises are around kind of our money stories and some of the thought processes that we have around money, and which would also serve you pretty well for our Belize trip because we're going to be talking all about money. Excuse me, all about money. And then we go into the sales script that I use and how that can be tweaked for different industries. Like it's the same basic questions, but how you can tweak it and how that works. So it's 3.5 hours. It's 8:30 to noon Pacific Standard Time, August 17th. So next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. And I tried to do it Saturday.
I'll be there, and I think my friend Michelle is going to join as well.
Oh, good. Good. Just make sure you register, Chantal.
And you said it's free?
Yeah.
I have a friend it might help as well.
Okay.
And
so
then
I'll have her email you guys with the link for the landing page.
And this is an aside, but Erica, the mom from LA, she a couple times was like, oh, I should get a coach. Like she is just struggling with like been mom, and that's been the role. And now daughter going to college, and then she inherited her mother-in-law, which she doesn't like, So anyway, I may
Yeah,
share.
well, yeah, send her my way. Like, shoot
Yeah.
an email introduction. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right.
ladies. Have a fabulous day.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.